Hey there. So I'm back. It's good to be back. It's been like 10 days now without a video. I apologize. I'm still a little congested, so I might sound a little different in this video. Hopefully, it's not super noticeable, or at the very least, like distracting. Um, but I guess we'll find out. But I wanted to make a video because it has been a long time. So here we go. I'm back. I was a little sick. To those of you who don't know or don't care, I was a little sick. So yeah, it wasn't too bad. Just congestion, a little bit of a cough at one point, but honestly, that didn't last too long. Um, but yeah, I'm feeling pretty good now, honestly. So, what's this video gonna be? Well, I had a not a recommendation. What's that called? A request. I had a video request from a viewer and a friend. So I'm going to do my best to fulfill that request. I won't be able to do everything. There's one trigger that they wanted that I'm not going to be able to do, but I'll be able to do all the others. So what's in store? What's lined up? So we've got the Listerine. They wanted the Listerine. It's a classic. They wanted coaster tapping, so we've got two coasters here. They wanted some negative energy plucking, so we'll do that. And then they just wanted generally throughout the video for there to be soft-spoken and whispering, so I'll have to try my best to switch between the two. Right now I'm doing more soft-spoken, obviously, but I can switch to whispered at any point. And yeah, I feel like that's going to be tricky for me, honestly, to switch between the two, just because that's not something I'm used to. Usually I pick one and then just do it the whole video. That's just really easy for me, but I don't know. We'll see. I'll try my best to do both. But anyway, we'll start with soft-spoken just because I'm more comfortable with that anyway. I guess we'll start with the Listerine just because it's the Listerine. It's a classic. You got to lead with the Listerine, you know. Anytime it's one of the triggers, I feel like you got to do it first. But yes, Listerine. Also, I've gone through so many Listerines now, like, honestly, Listerine should be sponsoring this channel with how many Listerines I've gone through. It would be awesome to be able to get free Listerine. But anyway, here we go. We're just going to do liquid shaking with it. But I guess we could do other sounds with it as well. But I imagine the reason this person requested the Listerine was for the liquid shaking. It makes very good liquid shaking sounds. Some of the best liquid shaking sounds, in my opinion. There's just something about this liquid in particular, because it suds up. It's like, it gets foamy. And I think that's very important, because it's not just water, because water doesn't get foamy. Unless there's something in it, obviously. I think maybe potentially also the shape of this bottle is important to how it sounds when you shake with it, because of like this shape, like there's like cavities, you know, like when you shake it like this, there's gonna be like pockets of air that I think might change the sound. I don't know. I'm not a sound expert. I'm only a lowly ASMR artist. I can't determine why the Listerine sounds good. I just know that it does. I hope I'm not... I was watching one of my older videos the other day, and I heard the stand that my microphone is on. It was like jiggling the whole video. And it was something I never noticed before, and when I was editing that video I didn't notice it, obviously, but it was really annoying and distracting. So I really hope that that's not occurring with this video. And if it is, then I'm going to have to figure out a new setup, because I can't keep putting that in my videos. I hope you all are doing well, are in good health. I think it was Michael that said that he was also sick when I made the first post saying that I was getting sick. So Michael, I hope you're doing well. I'm not 100% sure it was actually you that said that though, so it might not have been, in which case, I mean, I still hope you're doing well, Michael. But you may not actually be sick. But I also hope everyone else is doing well as well. Being sick sucks. I mean, it really makes you grateful, that's for goddamn sure. You really just forget how nice it is to just be in good health once you become not in good health. It just sucks. It sucks so much. And it's not like there's varying degrees of sickness, right? And I wasn't even particularly sick just now. But it still just sucks. It's like even the most minor inconvenience, it just is so annoying. And it's like, it feels like it shouldn't get to you that much. It's like, oh, it's just congestion. But it's like, no. It's like the most annoying thing ever. Like you lay down to sleep and it's like, oh, that's right. I can't breathe because one of my nostrils is completely blocked. And then the other one gets really dried out because it has like double the airflow. And then it gets like really, like it starts to burn because the skin is so dry. And it's like, oh, it just sucks. I hate being sick. But I'm not really sick anymore, so yes. It's good to be able to breathe again. Like I said, I'm still just like, it's like, we're at like 5%. 5% sickness. We're at 95% health. So we'll get there. But even now, I can like, yes, it's good to be back. Like, it's good to, you know, be able to breathe normally. You just don't realize how much that stuff matters when you have it all the time. And honestly, I don't even think that that's like a necessarily like heinous thing, you know? Like a lot of people, especially like, I feel like Pixar movies do this a lot where like the message is ultimately like, don't take your life for granted, like Soul. I was super hyped for Soul before that movie came out. No spoiler warnings or anything, but the message of that movie is basically like, don't take your life for granted, right? And it's like, I get what they're saying, but at the same time, it's like, you can't appreciate every single fucking detail of life, every single day, for every single minute. It's like, they're just things that you have to take for granted. Like being in good health, you can't appreciate that every single day when you're in good health 99% of the time. It's just like, yeah, I don't even think that's necessarily wrong to take that for granted. It's just, that's just the default. Like, I don't know. But yes, every time I get sick for like a week afterwards, I'm very grateful to be in good health. And then after that, I forget about it. And then every time I get sick after that, it's like I go through it all over again, you know? And then I dread being sick. And then I'm grateful again. Rather than just being grateful all the time. But that's just me. Let me know, you know, down in the comments. Are you super grateful for life all the time? And if you are, good for you, I guess. But I suspect very few people are. At least I'm not. I don't know. Maybe I just suck as a human being. All right, that's the Listerine bottle. Should we? Let's make some other sounds with it, I guess, before we put it back. We can make some tapping sounds, and I'm gonna switch over to whisper mode. I'm gonna cough here in just a second. We'll edit that out. Like I said, 5%. 5% still there. Still a little bit of lingering sickness. Everything's blooming. is upon us. It seems earlier than most years, which I assume has to do something with global warming, which is, perhaps a little disconcerting, but not much I can do about it personally, The world is a pretty big place. I know people say, like, oh, you shouldn't support companies because, admittedly, a lot of people make a big deal about driving your car a lot and stuff like that. And sure, carpooling is undoubtedly good for the environment because the fewer people that you have driving cars, the fewer emissions there are. But like the big proponent of global warming is all these massive corporations and these manufacturing plants that are just like pumping out chemicals and shit into the atmosphere at an inordinate scale. Mostly in places like China and shit, where the environmental regulations are not nearly as high as they are in America. But America does it too. I mean, any of like the electrical plants that are like the producers of electricity, like burning coal and shit. I mean, it's just terrible for the environment. And like, I get it. Like I said, I get the mentality that like if every single person came together and lowered their emissions, then like, we might be able to reverse it. But it's like, A, you're just never going to be able to get everyone to agree, and B, I just don't know how feasible that is. Like, especially in regard to like, not like when people say like, often. I'm not finishing any of my sentences, but I'll get there. Often whenever you say, or whenever you use the argument like, oh, I'm just a single person, like, I can't make a difference, people will often say like, well, it's the things that you buy, and like, if you're blaming it on the corporations are only doing it because, the consumers, there's a demand for their product, so they continue to make their product in the ways that they make them. But it's like, I mean, the motherfucker has to eat, I gotta buy clothes to put clothes on my back, and like, as far as consumerism goes, I honestly don't even like buy that much shit. It's mostly just food. I don't buy a lot of clothes. I don't own a lot of clothes. I don't buy a lot of like technology. My technological purchases are pretty few and far between. Like, I'll buy like an Xbox or like my computer, but like those were big purchases that happened like one time, It's not like I'm buying a new phone every year. Like I said, I've had this phone for like 7 years now. So, I just don't feel like that's a super good rebuttal. But you hear that one a lot. It's like, well, you shouldn't, buy into that. It's like, well, what the fuck do you want me to do? Live on a farm and just make everything myself? It's like, I'm sorry. I don't think that that's a reasonable thing to make people want to do, And I get it. As a, person that technically does contribute to global warming, since we all do to some degree, right? I guess it is a little unfair, or not really unfair, but it is a bit hypocritical to put all of the blame on the corporations and be like, oh, there's nothing I can do, because that's technically not true. But still, I mean, they are the bigger problem. We'll do some lid sounds. I hope you guys don't mind me talking about controversial shit like this. I don't know how controversial it is, but, it's admittedly more controversial than, like, talking about random shit. I don't know. I just like talking about stuff that actually matters. If you have a differing opinion than me, that's fine. As long as you're not spreading misinformation or anything like that. a person believing in global warming but just not caring. Because to be fair, I feel like that's kind of the position I'm in to a degree. Like, yeah, global warming is undoubtedly real, but as an individual, I just feel completely helpless to stop it in any significant way. So I don't really lose any sleep over it or anything. It's not something I think about all the time, and I don't really change my actions in a way that, would benefit global warming or anything like that. And if you have a problem with that, that's perfectly fine too. Connor, you're a part of the problem. Everyone thinks the way you do, and that's why nothing changes. It's probably fair, honestly. But it's like a self-fulfilling prophecy, In order to change that, you would need like a huge paradigm shift all at once in like everyone. That's just never gonna happen. There's also a part of me that believes that we as a species are like really good at fixing things when like we really have to. So like I don't know, maybe this is just me being pointlessly optimistic, but I'm just of the belief that, when things get to the point where they're like really, really bad, we'll fix it. Like we'll just fix it. Like right now, we can see what the world is probably going to become like, but we're not there yet. Like we're just starting now to see the effects of global warming and shit. But that's why no one really cares right now, because we're not really actually, experiencing any of the real terrible problems that are going to arise. I feel like once we get to the point where it's like, oh, there's no going back, like I guess we're kind of already there, but like once we get to the point where it's like, fuck, we're fucked, I think that's when we'll actually like band together and actually do something about it. I don't know. Like I said, maybe that's just me being optimistic, but that's kind of the way I feel about it. I just feel like sorry. I'm still, like I said, a little congested. Still coughing a little bit. We're going to go back to soft-spoken. It kind of goes in hand with what I was talking about before, actually, with being sick and being grateful. I think it's just natural that people don't, realize the gravity of a situation until they're actually in it, right? So when you tell people, guys, global warming is a really serious problem and it's going to really fuck us up if we keep going the way we're going, nobody cares because it's not tangible. You can't just tell people to worry about something and have them actually worry about it. They need to experience it for themselves, right? Kind of in the same way that a person that's perfectly healthy isn't going to be grateful for being healthy all the time because, there's nothing to compare it to. It's not tangible for them. Being sick isn't tangible. You forget what it's like to be sick because it's just not really important. You don't need to spend your time thinking about it and worrying about it when you're not actually sick. I think that's natural. And I think once we get to a point where shit is actually real and tangible and it's like you can't avoid the question anymore, it's like I think that's when we'll start to see actual solutions, And I know that the whole idea behind this is that once you get to that point, it's far too late. I just don't know that I believe that personally because I think people are pretty fucking smart. There's some pretty fucking smart people out there that I'm sure will come up with some pretty clever solutions about how to fix it, even at that point. I don't know. That's just, like I said, probably me being pointlessly optimistic, but that's just how I feel about it. We got the coaster now. My nails are pretty long. They've been growing over the course of me being sick, so now I can do pretty good nail tapping. But yeah, let me know. Is global warming something that genuinely you worry about? Does it keep you up at night thinking that the world is going to be, too hot to grow food, and waters are going to rise and natural disasters are going to become terrible and everyone's going to die? Or do you just not really think about it? Because, if I'm being honest, I just feel like a lot of people just don't really think about it that much. But maybe that's just me. Maybe that's just me projecting. I don't know. I'm also realizing now that I don't really want to, inflict a bunch of, negative thoughts with this video. Are you really worried about the impending doom of our civilization? Maybe don't think about it. I don't know. Like I said, it's the fact that I'm joking about it so lightheartedly right now, I think gives you a pretty good idea of how little I care about it. Or just at the very least, how little I'm worried about it. And I'm relatively young. Okay. 23. So I still have a good amount of life ahead of me. It's not like I'm just an old piece of shit that's who the fuck cares? I'm gonna be dead, so it doesn't matter. It's I'm gonna be experiencing it too. And if that's a part of the whole global warming issue that you really dislike, is that the people that are making the rules and enforcing the rules and everything are these old people that probably don't care simply because they're not going to be around to experience the effects of it, then I can 100% get on board with that. I can agree wholeheartedly that that's a really annoying aspect of society. If I'm being completely honest, I just don't really like old people in general. No offense. I take every situation, one at a time. I don't just blanket statement, oh, that person's old, fuck them, But of the people I have met that have been old, a lot of them have rubbed me the wrong way. So, yeah. But if you're a nice old person, then I will be nice to you. I just treat people the way they treat me, that's all. It's simple. But a lot of the old people I've met just have this really, entitled vibe, where they feel like they're owed everything, and, all this attention, and all this, additional effort, simply because they're old. It's look, you don't deserve anything just because you managed to stay alive. It's you're still a person, just like the rest of us. I don't know. Maybe that's just me being a cold-hearted son of a bitch, but that's just the way I feel about it. Again, I'm not going to go out of my way to treat old people like a dick. I'm not going to, that's not who I am. I'm just simply saying that an old person isn't entitled to anything extra, in my opinion, than any other person. You should still treat everyone with the same amount of respect until they show you that they are not worthy of that respect. That's just my opinion. It's also really annoying that a lot of the people, and I speak as an American, obviously I don't know the politics of other countries. To be fair, I don't really understand the politics of America that well, but still, it's annoying that all of the politicians in America are old. Joe Biden's 72 or some shit, maybe even older, I'm not sure. That's crazy. Come on, can we get some young people up in here? That's all I want. Can we get some young politicians? Young president? Barack Obama was fairly young. A lot younger than Trump and Biden. But then we had George Bush before that, and he was kind of old. Still younger than Biden, but I don't know. It's just like, I definitely feel like there should be an age maximum for the presidency and technically any other position of power, especially considering there's an age minimum. Which, I mean, I get it. We shouldn't have an 18-year-old president, right? That's not really what I'm asking for. I would say like 30s to 40s, like somewhere in there. I know you have to be 35 to be president. That's the age minimum. I would probably lower that, honestly, if I could. I would say maybe 30. I don't know. It's just annoying to have all these old people make all your rules. We're going to switch coasters. Like, how can you even hope that they will make decisions that benefit the majority of people living today when their only experience, being the age of the people that they're making the laws for was 40 years ago, Times have changed a lot since they were the age of the people that they're making the laws for. And they probably just don't even realize that. I don't know. Honestly, the bigger problem is just that all the politicians are fucking rich. That's the biggest division in society nowadays. The media tries to distract us and say, like, oh, race and religion and things like that are the biggest division. White versus black, or Christianity versus Islam with, like, terrorism and shit. It's like, none of that shit fucking matters. Are those divisions in society? Sure. But the biggest division is undoubtedly rich versus poor. The rich people make all the rules so they can get richer. And there's just nothing we can do about it. Do some pattern tapping. There's really a good solution. Well, I mean, there is a good solution. It's just, make it so that poor people can run for, like, presidency and shit like that. The fact that you have to, like, be a millionaire to even, like, campaign for a position of power is just, like, really backwards if you think about it. And to be fair, there is a correlation between poverty and, like, intelligence, I guess. Not necessarily, like, strictly, but just because a person that doesn't have money isn't going to be able to afford better education, obviously, It's not that a person that's poor is just, like, predisposed to being stupid. Obviously, that's not true. But yes, I get it. So it's like, yes, a person that's wealthier is probably going to be more qualified to, run the country. But at the same time, like, fuck that noise, Because, like, you're dealing with people's lives. You're not a scientist. I don't know. It doesn't take a fucking genius to say, like, yeah, the quality of living for a majority of Americans should be a lot better than it is, I don't know. Oh no, we're running out of space. We are running out of space. The flashing icon has come up. Okay, we're going to do some quick energy plucking, all right? So we're just going to pluck your negative energy. Just forget everything I just said, because everything I've been talking about this video has been fairly negative. So we're just going to pluck that all out. All of your memories gone. You're just not going to remember any of these memories. We're going to pluck those memories. We're going to pluck them, and then we're going to rip them out. We're going to pluck them, and then we're going to rip them out. Okay, we're going to pluck them, and we're going to cut them, pluck them and 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 pluck them out. Just forget everything I've been talking about, because it's not, it's not a pleasant thought. But I just like talking about that stuff. I'm sorry, I'm a weirdo. All right, pluck. Okay, hopefully that was a good video. There we go. Catch you later.